So, I'll let you have a look at our ratatouille. It's been about 20 minutes since we've thrown the tomatoes in, and it's getting real nice and soft. Lots of the liquid has come out of not only the tomatoes, but also the sweet bell peppers. So we've got a fair bit of liquid going down there. Once it gets to this stage, because we want our zucchinis and our eggplant to stay real nice and firm when it's ready, we're going to get our base started and get everything else on the go. Now, since you've had 20 minutes to kill, I also like having a really nice big thick piece of bread to go with this. Just makes it all the better. And this is probably about the most fattening part of this entire meal, actually. What I've done is you eat yourself a loaf of French bread. I mean, you can buy the specialty ones that already have the garlic butter on there, which isn't a bad way to go. But what I've chosen to do is just take a French loaf and use the same mixture of herbs that we're going to put into our ratatouille. Mix it with butter and just spoon it on, brush it on with a barbecue brush. And we're going to throw that in the oven, bake it up a little bit. Let's put a little bit on top, get it nice and crispy and warm. It's going to be a very nice accompaniment. And we're also going to get our quinoa started. For those of you who haven't had it, it is a grain from South America. It takes virtually nothing to grow it, and has actually been selected as the UN's new sort of staple grain that they're sending out to famished countries, because it doesn't require a lot of water, doesn't require any special heat or temperature, can grow anywhere and doesn't take any issue, and is insanely healthy. Now, spelling of it, it's, for those of you who won't be able to find it, most Save On Foods now carries it, or you'll be able to find it at health food stores. Now, you're looking for Quinoa, which I know doesn't sound like quinoa, but that's the South American pronunciation. The way to cook it is just like rice. I don't know if the microwave version works. I always do my rice in a pot over the stove anyways. All you're going to do is double the amount of water of the quinoa you're using. So, 1 cup of quinoa, 2 cups of water. Bring your water to a boil, dump the quinoa in, stir it around, take it off the heat and just let it simmer for a little while, and it cooks itself. Really easy to use. The other thing you can do is it seasons really nicely. Throw whatever you want it to taste like into the water. So, for this, I'm going to add just a little bit of our herb de Provence and a little bit of that garlic infused oil. Just a tiny little bit, like a teaspoon will do. A little bit of oil also keeps quinoa from sticking to itself. And you're just going to bring that to a boil. And that's what we're going to serve our ratatouille on. Now that we've got that all ready to go, we're going to add our herbs. It's always nice to have them pre-mixed because then you can really just dump them in. If you live in a big house, I guarantee people in the basement will be smelling this already. That roommate's coming to investigate. Oh, yeah. This is one of my favorite dishes. If you can find the ingredients in the winter, on a nice cold day when you have about an hour to kill, this is a fantastic dish. Even in the middle of summer. It's just one pot on the stove. Aside from turning on the oven to bake up your bread, keeps the house nice and cool. Go sit on the deck, just have a bowl of it. It's amazing. And like I said, it's really good cold, which makes it even better in the summer when it's the middle of the day. Especially down here, it's plus 40. You don't want anything hot. You just want cold something in a cold bath. A little bit of cold ratatouille, slice of bread, and a nice cold beer. Or a nice cold chartreuse, all you need. Now that we've gotten our seasoning in, we're going to add the chopped up eggplant and zucchini. The later you put this in, the firmer it's going to be. For those of you who haven't had eggplant, I will warn you right now that it is, especially down here, you got to watch out because sometimes they can be very bitter. Something like ratatouille, I don't mind it because it's going to get cooked in with all the other seasoning and most of the bitterness will go out. But if you're going to bread it and fry it or do anything where you're really going to taste it, even this, if you find it too bitter, you might want to slice it up and just put it in a little bit of water with a strainer and just let it soak for 10-20 minutes even. And that's going to pull actually a lot of the bitterness out of it. There we go. I'm just going to have a little bit more. I'm a big eggplant fan. That's sort of a spongy texture. It's a nice firm vegetable, really similar to a zucchini. It's just fantastic. There we go. And that's all there is to ratatouille. Now we're just going to let that sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. Really let it cook itself in while we're getting our quinoa and our bread ready. And we'll sit down and eat. I think it's time for another shot. Well, bread's come out of the oven. Quinoa is all ready and done. It takes about 15 minutes for the quinoa to boil down. You want to leave it on low heat after it's come to a boil. Turn it up a little bit if you want it a little bit faster, but nothing above medium. So, got everything set up. It's all plated out. Just put the ratatouille on top of your quinoa. Slice up some of this herb bread that we've made, and you're ready to go. It's been my very distinct pleasure making ratatouille for you all. I hope you enjoyed the recipe. Join us next week when we're going to come a little bit closer to home. We've been through France and the Mediterranean and England. Let's come to Canada. And we're going to do my version of macaroni and cheese. Should be exciting. Dinner's ready!
Au bistrot comme toujours il y a les beaux discours.